So Tribal Group is focused on providing software and services for the education sector. There's three divisions. Student management systems, this is sort of the backbone of the group. This is software systems that are for every process of the student administration. So from admissions and enrollments to then course enrollments, exams, and finally their graduation and so on. So it's all that administration systems. Then the next division is called iGraduate, and what that is surveys and analytics. So that's more about educational institutions looking at evaluating their own sort of quality offering and seeing how they can improve it. And then the final one is quality assurance, which is inspection services. So this is done on behalf of governments. They perform inspections. Yeah, the background is it's a mixed story. It's the share price has tripled in the last year, but if you look back earlier than that, there'd been a big collapse in the share price. So what had happened was this was an acquisitive business. They'd got into a number of different niches, some of them in education, some of them in other areas really. Very high leverage on the balance sheet, and in our view there was a bit of aggressive accounting going on as well. Now things came to a head. So at the start of 2016, you saw the share price had really come under a lot of pressure. New management was brought in. The board recognised we need to do something here. There's a major kind of overhaul needed. What's happened is disposal of a significant sized business. It was one of the non-education ones, and a rights issue. So all this happened at the start of 2016, and that's what set the platform there for the share price tripling up to where it is now. What that tells you is they fixed the balance sheet, and the new management having come in have been able to give the market a sort of fairly credible view of, okay, we know what we've got now, we've got an education specialist, and yes, it's very fixable. So that's really the background. Yes, a new management team being brought in last year was obviously an important part of the turnaround. And what you've got is guys who come from a software background, and they have the backing of the big institutional shareholders. If you look at the shareholder base of Tribal Group, it's a quality shareholder base. So I think what you've got is a board that's recognised the need for change, an experienced management team that's been brought in that can handle the turnaround, and importantly, when you look at what's happened just over the first 12 months of the new management, they've hit all of the targets they set in terms of setting up the new structure, moving towards integrated platforms, getting rid of product overlap. So, so far so good, and yes, I think there's every reason for optimism. And in terms of the long-term opportunity, medium-term opportunity from here, I think what you're looking at really mostly is operating profit margins. They delivered about a 5% margin, it's 5.2% in 2016. So you ask yourself, well, can we get it up to 7%, 8%? We think about 20% is the answer. There's a lot of upside still here for the margins, and that's looking at similar sort of niche-focused businesses with a software-centric kind of offering. And it's looking at also, we've looked at what the company is saying, what their targets are in terms of taking cost out, what the sort of pathway is to getting the margins up. And so yes, it's a lot of margin upside. You're getting from around a 5% to around a 20% margin, we think, by 2020. So we see plenty of upside still here from a profitability point of view. And then when you think about where does that get you in terms of what the valuation might be, well, it's a low beta business, meaning it's not a highly cyclical business. So that would normally, you'd say, put a decent multiple on that, 12 times EBIT maybe, and that would get you 50% upside. So your exit sort of valuation come 2020, still 50% upside on a fairly conservative sort of view. So yes, there's still plenty to shoot for here is our view.